Alright, it's time for an update video. It's really bright in this room right now, so there's probably a little bit of glare and the camera's going to have trouble focusing. But here's the Tiger Oscar doing great. Recently, in the last month, I changed the position of the heater, so then there was a little bit better flow over the heater. It used to be over here. But so that tank's doing well. I'm not sure how much bigger he's gonna get. Probably grow another 2, maybe 3 inches. But here's the Iwagami Scape. As you can see, I've been trying to grow in the carpet, but this tank has no CO2 and a very destructive snail up here. So they're not struggling, but it's also just not going the fastest. There's some mature plants here and there, but I'm not sure how much more it's going to spread. As you can see, like right here, the roots have come out of the substrate here and are kind of just sitting on the surface. And then up here, there's just a bunch of floating little teeny plants that didn't get their roots in there deep enough before this darn snail ripped them up. But this tank, I'm just gonna let it go and see what it does. Alright, here's the goldfish tank. It's a little dirty right now. There's kind of a lot of algae on the rocks, a lot of diatoms, especially on those plant leaves right there. Some things have been moved around. A lot of little baby Java ferns that, like on this one, you can see at the base of it, if I can zoom in, there's a lot of new baby growth that's coming in here. So they're adjusting and getting root deep down into those rocks there. And so far, these guys haven't messed with any of the plants, which is amazing. Unfortunately, I lost a lot of the mosses in here. Like this one just has a little bit left on it. But I need to do some maintenance on this tank. It used to be really bad with diatoms. Like I'd have to like clean it every 3 days. It was so bad. I haven't cleaned the algae in like 3 weeks. All because what I did was I hung the light higher up. It's just hung by some monofilament there, and there's 2 hooks in the ceiling there. It's just to get the light farther away from the tank. This tank's coming along. Here's this one terrarium. There's some of the mosses died here and there. The plants are doing alright. The only problem is this hood light. The bulb blew out on it and it hasn't been working for a while, so what I've been doing, it gets enough light from the window. I have the curtains closed right now, so I don't have too much glare. But it gets definitely enough light, so that's not the problem. I water it enough. The humidity is a little low right now. It's semi-tropical in there right now. But I need to water it every 3 days or so, spray it down, because it kind of dries out really quickly. Which is annoying, but there needs to be more plants in here, because right now it just looks like a bunch of leaf litter and twigs. Like there needs to be a better plant here, some more ground coverage. There needs to be a lot more foliage for it to look nice. But before I buy any more foliage and get things to grow in, I'm gonna need to get a new light on this thing. Also, this fern in this corner died. That was annoying. Anyways, so that's that. Right up here, you can see I've got a bunch of cuttings. Right here, this is just a pothos, like a common pothos. These are a bunch of clippings that have been growing. You can see all the roots in there. It's about time to plant those. There's a smaller vine pothos that most pothos are vines, what am I talking about? That I just put the clipping in the soil after that. I have a Dracnea here, and then over there I have a marble pothos that's hidden by this fertilizing container. Insect collection, and then the other one over there. Alright, it's very bright in this room because we have a skylight in here, and it's about the middle of the day here. It's about 1 o'clock, but I'm gonna just open it here so there's less glare. This thing is doing fantastic. I did lose the bromelid in the corner here because it got a little too moist and it rotted. But this little baby spider plant that I'm successfully kept from getting massive in here, which was my plan because I didn't want a spider plant enclosure. I wanted a terrarium. I'm not entirely sure of what type of fern it is. Something's been eating at it here. Anyways, bunch of different mosses that are in the bottom here, some leaf litter, some bark back in that corner. But this thing is full of isopods and springtails, like crazy amount. So much stuff for them to feed on down there. This moss is doing really well. It's starting to grow in these corners here and right there. I just spray it once in a while. Here's the, I only spray this thing like once a week because it keeps really good humidity in there. So there's good airflow and it stays nice and moist in here and gets plenty of sunlight. So this thing's really doing well. Alright, this tank's gonna nearly gonna be impossible to film without glare. Here it is, doing great. The whole school. I haven't lost a single fish in this tank, which is amazing. These guys are starting to get bigger, so that's cool. The Cory's zooming around. There goes one, because I just spooked them all. Little plants here and there. Wood. Exciting. The thing that happened the other day is this filter somehow drained itself. Either I didn't properly prime it after I did a water change, but it drained itself. It was like this for 3 days and I didn't notice because I didn't hear it. And what happened is the water came out and there was just enough water down in here near the pump that it didn't burn the pump out. But when I discovered that it was empty, I put my hand in there and the water from the pump moving around it was like boiling hot. So I was like, okay, we're gonna shut this off. So I shut it off, cleaned the filter, did a big water change to make sure that nothing spiked too aggressively, and then primed the filter properly, and now magically it's still working and didn't burn out. So that was cool. But that's pretty much it for that tank. This tank's always really hard to film because of the glare, and it's a really brightly lit room, but there's that. Alright, here's that springtail culture that I set up 3 months from now. But this thing is, I don't think you can see them on camera very well, but this thing is just chock full of springtails. Maybe you can see there's, no you can't, but there's a couple right in here. A lot of them are really small. There's a lot of them hang out in the bottom. I don't think you can see them very well. Anyways, but there's at least a couple hundred in here. And that was just after 3 months. And here's my isopod thing that I showed you to set up here. As you can see, they've been munching on the leaves here. I always like the structure of the leaf after they eat it. It's really cool. It's like you can see the veins after they eat all that cellulose. And here's an isopod here. And here's another one. I feed this thing a half piece of spinach every 2 days. Hopefully I think they're starting to reproduce, but that's cool. I have my all the leaf litter in one corner of this over here. And then I have one side cracked like that, so it's a little bit drier on this side and a little bit more moist on that side. But that's doing well. Alright, I'm out in the garage now. So that big project that I was talking about, I sadly gave up on it. It was just too hard to make something of the size that I wanted to make it. So I might make something smaller. I'll tell you what the project was, actually. So I was going to make a giant red-tailed catfish. Here's all my sketches to for the body form. Anyways, then what I was going to do is, I had a big massive sheet. I put it away because it was in the way. But this is all the scrap extra that I got along with the big sheet for like smaller pieces like the fins, and I also have this foam. That's what I was going to use to put the whole thing together. I was going to layer up a bunch of pieces, put foam in between, and then cut it with this hot wire cutter that I made. And then right here I have a wood filler to create to fill any gaps in the foam here, and you can sand it down and it's paintable. So sadly I didn't do that. I kind of gave up on it. I had a lot of things. I did some test runs, like I made a smaller one. I don't know where that body form went, but I cut out a small 3D form. That's just scrap, but I cut out a small 3D form and didn't really get far with it. Did some cutting and sanding on it, and it was hard on a small scale, so God knows what it was going to be like on a... I was going to plan on make this thing at least 4 feet long, so be close to life-size scale, so... sadly, I'm not going to do that project. Maybe I'll make something smaller and put those glass eyes that I bought to good use. I don't know. Find something to do with it. Maybe you guys can give me a idea or something, or suggestion. So, alright, so that's about it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, you can leave a like on this video. And you can go check out my YouTube channel. They have more videos like this about different fish, about setting up those cultures, all sorts of interesting stuff on there. And if you're not already subscribed, subscribe please. It will help me a lot. So thank you if you've done that already. And that's it. So thank you.